Number 1. Do cultural differences shape the balance between parental authority and adolescents' autonomy? And what challenges arise when these values clash in modern globalized societies? Cultural differences significantly shape the balance between parental authority and adolescent autonomy. Some cultures prioritize parental authority, emphasizing obedience and respect, while others value adolescents' autonomy, promoting independence and self-expression. In modern, globalized societies, these differing values can clash, particularly in immigrant families navigating new cultural norms. Balancing parental guidance and adolescents' independence requires open communication and mutual respect. Ethical dilemmas also arise when parental authority conflicts with a child's autonomy, especially in medical decisions, necessitating careful assessment and protection from harm. Number 2. How does the concept of pakikisama or social harmony influence decision-making within Filipino marriages? And what impact does this have on individual autonomy and conflict resolution? Pakikisama or social harmony significantly influences decision-making in Filipino marriages, often prioritizing collective agreement over individual desires. This emphasizes can limit individual autonomy as partners may suppress personal preferences to maintain harmony. In conflict resolution, pakikisama can lead to indirect communication and avoidance of direct confrontation, potentially delaying resolution and fostering resentment if individual concerns are not adequately addressed. Number 3. How do single parents in the Philippines navigate the dual roles of provider and caregiver, and what support system, formal or informal, are most critical to their well-being and their children's development? Single parents in the Philippines navigate the dual roles of provider and caregiver by relying heavily on extended family and informal community support networks. These networks provide emotional, financial, and child care assistance, which is critical for the well-being of both the parents and the children. Formal support systems such as government subsidies and social programs are often less accessible or inefficient, making formal support all the more vital. Number 4. How do cultural expectations and societal factors in the Philippines shape a woman's preparation for motherhood, and what gaps exist in support system for those who do not fit traditional norms, example, single mothers and working mothers? Cultural expectations and socio-economic factors in the Philippines shape a woman's preparation for motherhood through strong emphasis on familial rules and traditional values, often reinforced by societal norms and religious beliefs. However, gaps exist in support system for those who do not fit traditional norms, such as single mothers or working mothers who may face stigma, limited access to resources, and lack of adequate childcare, highlighting the need for more inclusive and comprehensive support structures. Number 5. How do Filipino parents adapt their communication styles as children transition from early childhood to adolescence? And what role does hiya or shame or utang na loob or debt of gratitude play in shaping parent-child dialogue? Filipino parents adapt their communication styles as children transition from early childhood to adolescence by gradually shifting from directive to more indirect methods, often influenced by concepts like hiya or shame and utang na loob or debt of gratitude. Hiya can inhibit open dialogue, particularly on sensitive topics, as children may avoid expressing opinions that could cause shame to themselves or their parents. Utang na loob can shape parent-child dialogue by creating an implicit obligation for children to conform to parental expectation as a way of repaying their parents' sacrifices.